All right. So, you know how we do these deep dives?
We sure do.
You guys send in stuff. And this one today really kind of stopped me in my tracks a little bit because it's about relationships,
Okay.
which obviously something everybody, I think, can relate to.
Of course. Yeah.
And it's kind of about how to make them last. And it's the thing that got me was it says almost the opposite of what you hear all the time.
Really?
You know, so like it's not about all the things that you can do to make somebody stay with you.
Ah, interesting.
This is more like it's about being chosen.
I love that.
Right. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what we're going to deep dive into.
Yeah, because I mean, it really is, when you think about it, that's kind of the secret sauce, isn't it?
That is it. You want to be chosen.
You want to be chosen. It's that mutual. It's not about how can I keep you in my life. It's I'm showing up fully, you're showing up fully, and we both actually want to be here.
Yeah. And one of the phrases, and I wrote it down because when I saw this, I was like, ooh, got to unpack this. It says, and this is just part of it, but it says, a woman who wants to be kept will do everything to fight for you. So what does that mean?
Well, and you know, we could spend a whole other hour on each word in that sentence, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
A woman who wants to be kept, like there's so much to unpack there.
Right.
But I think for the purpose of this conversation, when we think about if keeping isn't the goal, right?
Right.
What does it mean to really fight for a relationship?
Yeah.
And I think what it means is that it is a choice that you make to show up even when it's hard. So it's not about grand gestures necessarily. It's about, you know, when you have a disagreement and you can feel yourself maybe wanting to be right.
Yeah.
To actually make the choice to try to understand the other person's perspective. That is you making a choice in that moment to connect, to fight for the relationship.
To fight for the relationship as opposed to being right.
Exactly.
And I like that it's not about, you know, like the grand gestures, like you said. It's the everyday things. It's making the time when you're busy. It's, you know, having those conversations that maybe are a little difficult.
Exactly. Choosing to communicate even when it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Prioritizing that time with each other, even when life gets hectic. It's those everyday choices that really add up, you know?
They do.
It's like you're putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak. You're demonstrating through your actions that you are choosing this relationship.
And that's a really good point because this excerpt, and this is where I think it gets really, really interesting.
Okay.
They list things that don't keep a woman. And some of these, on the surface, sound like good things.
Uh-oh. Like what?
Honesty,
Okay.
loyalty, being there for her, treating her well.
Right. Those sound like table stakes, right?
Yes. And making an effort,
Okay.
caring,
Yeah.
spending time.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's like the good
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Right. It's like saying, you know, building a really strong foundation for a house doesn't mean it's going to last.
Doesn't mean you have a house.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a foundation.
Exactly. What's missing from that equation?
You need the walls, you need like the pretty stuff. You need to make it a home.
Yes. And that's exactly it. It's like these are the foundational elements. They have to be there.
Okay.
If you don't have these things, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You've got to start with that. But if that's all you've got,
Yeah.
that's not a relationship.
No, it's just a foundation. It's not a home.
Exactly. You've got to build on that with shared values, with emotional intimacy, with connection, with compatible life goals. Like all of those things are what make it a relationship.
So you got to have the foundation, but then you got to build a house.
You got it.
Okay. So then how do we know? Because, you know, you're in it.
Yeah.
How do you know if you're being chosen?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. Am I trying to keep someone here or are they choosing me?
Yeah.
How do we tell?
Well, and I think it really comes down to how does it feel? Are you comfortable communicating your needs, even when it's scary? Even when you're afraid to rock the boat?
Right.
Do you feel heard?
Yeah.
When you share those things, do you feel like the other person really gets you? Do you feel seen, heard, and understood for who you are? Or do you feel like you have to twist yourself into a pretzel to be accepted?
Right. Or that you're going to scare them away
Yeah.
if you're your true self.
Exactly. And are your differences respected? Celebrated even?
Oh, I like
Very.
this.
Because if you can find someone who celebrates those differences, who doesn't see them as a threat,
Yeah.
that's gold.
And I think for me, a big thing that comes up around this whole being chosen thing is that feeling of if I let go of even a little bit of control, if I'm really myself, they're going to leave.
Absolutely. That fear of vulnerability, right?
Yes.
Because being chosen, truly chosen, requires us to be vulnerable, to let someone see all of us, even the messy bits.
And I think that's a great place to wrap it up on, because that is the question, right?
Yeah.
Can I be my full self?
Yes.
And will you still choose me?
And the beautiful thing is, when both partners feel safe enough to be fully seen, to be vulnerable, it deepens the connection. It makes the choice to stay, to choose each other, even stronger.
So much to think about, guys. Let us know what you think.